So, Robin, we're talking about what is it that sustains you? Okay?
Okay.
And so maybe as I'm asking you the question is, what does it feel like to hear it?
The question?
The question.
It feels satisfying. I'm glad you're asking because I don't know that anyone's ever asked me that before, and it feels like an opportunity to spend time with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So something satisfying about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe let's go into that feeling satisfying of what is it that gives you the sense of satisfying? Where do you feel it in your body? What shape does it have? What?
Satisfying. I feel it in my belly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like something deep. The word sustain implies something very deep, not something.
Mm-hmm.
Not something. Perhaps something complex too. So it's not something I might just put a word or two to.
Mm-hmm.
It's something complex.
Yeah. So something in your belly that's deep, but really also a sense of something complex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also some excitement about it. I feel excited to talk about it because it links in with my whole thing I write about a lot, about beauty.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it makes me, I'm noticing a smile in me when you start to write, to mention the excitement and, the connection with the writing about beauty. Yeah.
And then when you said that the writing about beauty, I thought, well, it connects with, what does sustain me.
Mm-hmm.
And part is drawing and painting.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something I write about, but it's something I'm experiencing through drawing and drawing and painting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that strong association of what sustains you is drawing, painting. Yeah.
Which, you and I had an interview a long time ago. We talked about observing and what that means to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so drawing and painting is really, it's more about being in an observing place.
Mm-hmm. 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 And so right now, you're in an observing place, but observing yourself or what comes up inside.
Yes.
And
right.
Is it a similar experience to?
Well, it's a little different in that what I draw and paint generally is something that's sitting still.
Mm-hmm.
Where if I observe my own stuff inside, whatever is coming for me, it's not still.
Mm-hmm.
It's moving constantly. When I paint the landscape moves constantly and the light shifts constantly, so it is a little like that.
Mm-hmm. And you like to paint landscape, and you want to do more of that.
I want to do more landscape painting,
So what is it that when you paint a landscape is so satisfying? Or I'm not even sure whether satisfying is the word.
Well, you use the word, you ask what sustains
Sustaining,
me.
yeah.
And nature sustains me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm in the landscape, it's truly being in and communing with nature.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm observing nature while I'm all, experiencing nature and observing it all at once.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're drawing or painting a landscape, the light starts changing while you're starting. If you chase the light, by the end of the painting, you'll have like 3 paintings in one where one tree has a shadow going one direction and another tree has a shadow going another direction, and it doesn't really work.
Mm-hmm.
So you really have to kind of, in the beginning of a landscape, compose your composition and then kind of stick with that. So that by the end of the painting, it's partially memory, the painting, and partially what you're seeing.
Mm.
And you're kind of holding what first impresses you,
Mm-hmm.
and holding that while the light changes all around you.
Mm. Yeah. So it's something, I'm not a painter, so it's a practical thing in a way that I hadn't thought about. And it's like when you were talking about observing, there's something different, there, because you take a stance toward it, and you observe, but you also maintain something. Yeah.
And then, they say, like, even if you're painting a portrait of somebody else, it's always autobiographical.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm painting a landscape and what I see outside, but my felt experience infuses everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even if it doesn't come out all that well,
Mm-hmm.
there's something of my felt sense in the marks I make.
Right. So that to come back to what sustains you, there's something about your relationship with nature,
Yes.
but there's also something about in the process of depicting that relationship, you actually are talking about or exploring yourself.
Yes.
And so right now, as we're talking about it, what's happening inside?
I'm asking myself inside about that word sustains. Really wondering what sustains me.
Great, it feels wonderful. It's wonderful. So maybe, yeah. So just what if I'm going to try and repeat it a couple of times to see what it feels like hearing it from outside versus when you hear it from inside.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
So what sustains you? We're exploring what it is that sustains you.
Where beauty comes again,
Mm-hmm.
which is, what is in nature that sustains me. It's what is in human relationships that sustains me, in my relationships with friends and family, and it's also my coming to know that I'm beautiful. Which is a hard thing to say out loud. I'm beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
We're taught we don't, that's egotistical, or we're taught not to say that out loud. It's like and to even conceive of myself as beautiful is like it doesn't go with anything I've learned about myself.
So I had never heard you say that, and there's something that feels very stirring. Like not moving in a sense of crying, but stirring, something that feels very, very wow. Yeah, so it is wow. So something about you noticing and owning your beauty.
Yes, it didn't come through just noticing myself. It came through my noticing. I'm noticing how beautiful you are, and everybody I meet, noticing how beautiful they are, and being a therapist and having people come in and feeling themselves to be so ugly, and I see the beauty in them.
Right, and then you can then apply it to yourself. You're not making
and I say, how am I different than that?
Yeah.
How can I continue to hold against myself that I'm not beautiful?
So you're talking about is being an observer of beauty in the world.
Yes.
And as you're an observer of beauty, it's not about a sense of, this is beautiful and this is ugly, but noticing like the pervasiveness of beauty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's sustaining all of us all the time,
Wow.
and we're not aware of it.
So now as you're talking about it, it's like I often can hear beauty as the opposite of non-beautiful, and now I'm hearing it as like sunshine, that's everywhere.
It's everywhere. It's like the air we breathe.
Yeah. Wow. So that sense of what you're looking for is you're looking for that connection to beauty that's everywhere.
Yes.
But just like heightening, finding a gateway to seeing it more.
Yes.
And then as you're in it, you're basking in it, and yeah.
Yes. And as an artist, as I hone my skills, because I want to draw and paint realistically, so it takes a lot of understanding about how to use my materials. But the more that I learn about how to use my materials and from teachers, what to look for in terms of, how to use my materials, that kind of falls away, and then I can actually represent my felt sense of what I'm seeing more and more as I gain skill. And similarly, as a psychotherapist, I can listen in a way that isn't just a reflecting of whatever is there, but while I'm reflecting someone in their situation, I'm also reflecting their beauty.
Yeah. So in a way, as an artist, you are representational, but in another way, it's a vehicle to connect to the beauty and capture that.
Yes.
And as a therapist, as you're listening, beyond the story, you're connecting to the particular beauty of the person and the situation.
That's right. Well, that's what I want to do.
Yeah. No, but it feels nice. It feels beautiful because, it's the kind of stuff that, in some way, you have a way of expressing it. That if I heard it a certain way, I could imagine somebody talking about it as a practice, and a spiritual practice, and I can imagine that, there's a way of expressing it that would feel a little contrived. And what I'm appreciating is the quality of the way you're expressing it feels so matter-of-fact, that there's not a sense of you striving to do it, but kind of you connecting to it, just...
Yeah. Well, as an artist, you're looking at a beautiful model or a beautiful landscape, or, it's obvious there's beauty there in front of you.
Well, let me put it a different way. And so, it's possible that actually my question draws you away from where you are. And if it does, just ignore it.
Right.
But, when you say it's obvious, it's not necessarily obvious to everybody, and it was not necessarily obvious to you in the same way always.
That's true.
So I am kind of curious, if that's where you are, to have a sense of what has led you to being more able to see that obvious.
Okay, that's good. My teachers have led me. That's a big one. I want to give them credit because they've led me. Of course, it's my nature because I've always loved observing things and looking at things and finding beautiful designs. I remember being a kid and being intrigued by beautiful things. Beautiful in the sense of in nature, not so much man-made objects, but though many are beautiful. I've been drawn to the beauty in nature, not so the beauty in human nature. That not something it's something I came to in my process. I think I might have lost a train of thought there.
But no, so you're talking about, in a way, as long as you remember yourself.
Yeah.
There's a sense of being drawn to the beauty in nature.
Right.
So we'll come back to the other part. But so maybe...
I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. I think what I didn't want to lose the thread of is my teachers.
Okay.
Because my teachers kind of were walking the path ahead of me, and they learned things that I didn't know, and so they turn around and they say, "Oh, look at this and look at that," and I think there's something in this that feels important about how we are relational beings. we need someone to point our way to beauty. I think, when we're kids, we need our parents to have a gleam in their eye and look at us and go, oh, what a beautiful child you are. And when we don't have that, we're at loss for it, because it's sort of like, I think of it as a birthright, to have a parent that really appreciates you and loves you and reflects to you your goodness and your beauty. But so often we don't get that for a variety of reasons. So we need, down the line, a teacher or a psychotherapist to kind of say, oh, wait a minute, no one ever showed you this before. But
right. But so so many layers, and there's a sense of how much we, as people, babies, children, grown-ups, like to see the gleam in somebody's eye, to see our beauty reflected in their appreciation. And you're also talking about teachers who have had the experience of seeing beauty in the world and are able to point it out to you in a way that you can't really see at first.
That's right.
Yeah. So when beauty sustains you, it's not in a way just the beauty that you see, but there's a layer of also the relationship that your teachers have shared, their discovery. It's like it's not just pure beauty, but there's also the appreciation for their appreciation, and they're showing it, and they're finding a way to show it to you.
Yes. So you might say that my teachers sustain me.
And do your teachers, in terms of what they have found, but also in terms of having the relationship with you?
Yeah, the relationship.
Yeah.
It's like they can show me things that it's really magical things. You watch a really excellent painter, it's like magic to watch them. And then for them to give you their tricks, their bag of tricks to play with.
Right.
It's like having a big brother that lets you into the clubhouse and says, hey, come on in, kid.
Right. But that's, it's like, as you're talking about it and hearing ways some of people in a tribe, who are initiated to the secret ritual or the witchcraft, or which is like a way of understanding the world, and it feels like that's some of that quality.
Yes.
That people that show you the hidden beauty of the world.
Yes.
Mm.
And then you go, oh, it wasn't hidden at all. It's been here all along.
Right. But at the same time that, you may not have been able, or, or even if you were, there's appreciation for them showing this. Yeah.
It's like if you grow up in a family where you're traumatized and you don't have your basic human needs met relationally, you might not know that there's any other world other than that family you grew up in. And so to have someone say, "Oh, there's so much more than you are even aware of."
Right. So in a way, it's like growing up in the desert and somebody shows you oasis and water.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
so it's not,
and the water's been there all along, and it's been sustaining you, but you've never realized it.
Yeah. But it's also how it's not just beauty in that sense. It's like life. What gives. I mean, we're almost talking about beauty and sustaining. It's synonymous. It's not just like a limiting sense of beauty. It's life. It's
exactly.
There's a quality. It's like almost to have a sense of you live in a black and white world and somebody shows you color, or there's something about there's something. It's like the whole principle of the world.
Exactly.
Mm. And that's in contrast to family, where there is a starvation.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we need that. We need, we call it beauty. We need a reflection of all the possibilities and the opportunities around us.
Mm-hmm.
And we need that. We need that from others. And it's like the air. Like you said, it's the air. The color. It's a black and white world, and then suddenly there's color.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're eating really poor food that doesn't have any nutrition in it, and suddenly you have your first salad.
Mm.
Wow, my cells come alive.
Mm. So it's that sense of the kid who's starved or parched with thirst, and that salad that has a liquid, that wetness that wow, and there's a nourishment, there's but it's like that sense. I mean, I have a plant at home that when we don't water it for a while, it gets completely droopy and it looks like dead.
Yes.
But we put water, and within a half hour, it's like it's really
exactly.
Yeah.
We have one like that. We call it the hypochondriac plant.
But so it strikes me of how much your relationship with beauty is really a relationship with the sustainable life force of the world. That's or something
right.
of that nature.
That's right. Yeah. I'm using the word beauty, but I am talking about nature.
Yeah.
And nature can be a force to be reckoned with, and can offer up some pretty rough times for people on this planet. And nonetheless, it is powerfully beautiful.
Yeah.
Always powerfully beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's nature, and it's not just nature, because in nature or in art or in beauty, you have learned to also see other people's beauty.
That's right.
And your own beauty.
I see that as part of nature.
Yeah. But so it's the opposite of feeling separate.
That's right. We don't realize that we are nature. We are not separate from nature.
So how is it right now as we're talking about it, and there's a sense of you saying, we are nature, we are beauty, we are, what's happening? What's it emotionally inside?
Well, we're talking about things that, for me, are very hard to find words for. To really say it in words, like you said, it can sound very trite or kind of, and so I'm wanting to find words that open this up more in me and in anyone who might be listening.
Which, by the way, again, I want to repeat how my experiences you're talking about is the exact opposite of trite. It feels like you're really connecting to like an obvious simplicity of it.
I love that word, simplicity.
Yeah.
Because it is a simple thing. In that it just is.
Yeah. So, you say in lots of ways as a kid, you were attracted to beauty and nature, and then, teachers, art teachers, were able to point out beauty where you may not have seen it, and then you also came to see beauty in people.
Yes.
And in yourself, and so how did this come about?
Well, in part, I think because my teachers are more than just teaching me art. There's a real human connection, and so I think I experience my teachers as close friends. In that there's an emotionality to learning to paint and draw, and to conversing in the classroom about all sorts of things related to beauty, related to art, related to technique, and this conversation invites metaphor, invites philosophy, invites a sense of nature.
So that the art class is not just about the skill or the technique or this or that, but is really about your relationship with beauty.
Yeah,
and with
in part it is.
Yeah.
Because the teachers I've had have been really excellent teachers, and they've given me tools and ideas and ways of working that I couldn't get from any other teachers, I don't think. But more than that, there's a human connection with my teachers, and so I think it's giving me a deeper nurturance than just learning how to paint or draw. There's that. So they become kind of familial in a certain way.
Yeah. So it's not just about even observing or just you're representing what you observe, but that there is a conversation.
Yeah.
About what's important.
Exactly.
And so, in a way, say in contrast to a family where the important stuff is not talked about or is put under the table, I hear a sense of like the very deep satisfaction of focus being put on what's important.
Yes. There's also, I think, I get from my teachers something I needed in my family that I never got. So, I'm sure for me that's why I'm saying all of this, is because I'm getting something that I've longed for, and I'm getting it. It's kind of like mothering and fathering, but it's kind of if you have a good parent knows how to set boundaries and teach you discipline and teach you, they don't just praise you blindly. There's a balance of, and I get all of that from my teachers.
Right. Right. So in a way, when you get something positive, it's very clearly positive as opposed to just bullshit.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. If a teacher praises you, it's like it's really they're saying, I know you're on the right track. It's not like, oh, you've reached it, but stop. It's like you're on the right track. And we need to know we're on the right track. At least I should talk for myself there. I mean, I need to know I'm on the right track.
But so, there's again a sense of like the relationality of it. There's that sense of there is that convergence of interest. There is a sharing, and there is the deep honesty, in the presence of that. And all of this is part of that beauty.
That's right. When I first thought this whole thing kind of about beauty kind of came about because I was struggling because I would have to wear two different hats, one as an artist and one as a psychotherapist, because I was passionate about moving forward in both of those places. And I was having a hard time shifting hats. I'd be so focused on art during the weekend, and then I'd go in and be a therapist during the week, and I'd be so focused on being a therapist during the week, and then it was hard to shift because they're each complex. And then I said, well, what is the thread? Can I find something that I can carry through both? And then that's where the word beauty came through.
But in addition, as you were describing the beauty part, I can see how it's a nice bridge with therapy, because your experience of beauty is not just the beauty outside, but is also seeing people and yourself as beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And you were having this very striking thing about how, this is in contrast to, a family where people may not have the skill or the ability or, whatever to really pay attention to the beauty of the child.
That's right.
So that, it's like, it's there's a very profound connection.
Yes.
This is part of the Active Pause podcast at activepause.com.